Tonight's show is all about love and marriage and divorce. But we'll start with the happy stuff. In 1964, 26-year-old Ralph Hirschhorn was transitioning from a career at Columbia Pictures to taking over his father's successful insurance agency. That same year, his current wife, Natalie, was born. What makes a May-December romance work? And can they stand the test of time? Ralph, Natalie, how did you meet?
We were introduced by a mutual friend.
You were.
Or friends, actually. Natalie's sister was involved, too.
Now, what attracted you to one another?
The first time I met Natalie, I guess I was struck by her poise. I think it was purely a personality thing, although she certainly had the kind of looks that would have appealed to me as well. Once I realized, basically...
Was this your first marriage?
No, this would be the second.
And Natalie?
It was my second marriage as well, and we were both very cautious because we wanted a marriage that worked. What I had done that wasn't so conventional, Ralph was interested in and thought that was interesting. I had spent time out skiing in Utah or
10 years.
Living different places and traveling. He found that interesting rather than, why would you do that? So that was nice.
She took chances on things that I never had the nerve to do.
Did you have any reservations about the 26-year age difference?
I don't think so. Well, that was one of many differences. There's a class difference, a religious difference, a personality difference. So I think that the age is almost irrelevant.
How was it different from dating people your own age?
Ralph is much more knowledgeable and had so many more experiences, so I had that to draw from. I found it wonderful.
When did you realize that things were getting serious?
Do you want to answer that?
Well, I thought, okay. She hauled off and kissed me.
Oh.
It was sort of on the spur of the moment, but that was the only way she could shut me up.
You've both been married with children? And Ralph, your daughter is the same age as Natalie?
Very close.
So how did your kids feel about your relationship?
Well, my son it was no issue at all. My daughter actually was still reacting to the other women I had been dating.
Negatively or?
Negatively, very strenuously negatively. Natalie came on the scene, and there was no way she could object to Natalie. So she definitely approves of Natalie.
I think it's lucky I am 1 month older than she is, so I'm just a little bit older, so that helps. I have a son from my earlier marriage. He's really a junior Ralph. That was
one of the attractions.
Great friends.
I love the idea that here was a chance to raise another child. He was 3 when I met him.
Oh.
And it's gone very well. We're very close.
Natalie, did you ever worry about becoming Ralph's caregiver one day?
Yes, it is a concern, but I don't know.
We should say that
I can't take care of him anyway.
Natalie is, by her nature, a caregiver, and she does it now.
He has more energy than I have, so I think we're okay, but we'll see when we get there.
Well, now that you've been married for almost a decade, what are some of the ongoing challenges of your age difference?
I don't see that there are any. I think there's certain things that you have to have. I think a sense of humor, some degree of intelligence, and you have to be very much in love with each other. Yeah. And if you've got that, I mean, there are no other real issues.
Dr. Holtzman, from what you've heard, why do you think Ralph and Natalie's marriage is so successful despite their age difference?
Well, because one of the reasons is they're not focused on their age difference. They're really focused on what it is about each member of the marriage and the relationship, how it complements each other. They don't have expectations that the other person has to change in order to meet the needs of the partnership. So that enriches the relationship and makes it better.
What are some of the things that can break a May-December romance apart?
Some of the unique challenges to a marriage in which there's a lot of age discrepancy has to do with some of the cultural differences, which really wouldn't differ much than if it were people from two different races or two different regions of the country or two different religions, that it does increase the risk of marital stress and divorce.
What should couples consider before entering into a May-December relationship?
Well, a lot of May-December relationships and marriages are second marriages, at least for the older person. So one of the biggest issues to consider is how it impacts the family, particularly if, as is the case with Ralph and Natalie, when the children are the same age as the spouse. Because I think there's a lot of emotions that have to be dealt with there. Very frequently in relationships like this, the older partner has either more esteem, more prestige, more money than the younger partner. I think a lot of what has to happen before you marry is a discussion about finances, as that is the number one thing that couples argue about in their first year of marriage.
Well, Ralph and Natalie, any words of wisdom for couples on making a May-December marriage work?
You need to love each other. That would be number one. And stay in love, which is not, I guess, maybe not that easy. But in our case, I'm always in awe of Natalie. And I liked your thing about expectations. You go into this thing with the right expectations. You don't look for happily ever after. You know what you're getting into, and that's part of maturity.
A lovely couple whose love knows no age.